became an administrator and you start looking at the big picture and striving for excellence and chasing after a better quality of education, a more rigorous approach to education, and impacting in a very positive manner student achievement, co-teaching was one of the first strategies that I thought would have a big impact.
We here at Wayne have been on a journey with the co-teaching experience, which started last year. Kay and I did some conferences on co-teaching, and then we became trainers for the co-teaching experience.
I think the biggest shift was for our co-teachers in the instructional specialists to really be honored for what they bring to the table. It has been spoken and observed that many co-teachers are used as glorified assistants in the classroom. And that really doesn't maximize the expertise of having two adults in the room.
As I started last year and the previous year actually co-teaching, I was more of an assistant, and I thought of myself as an assistant. However, as I have evolved and as my perspective and my opinion of co-teaching has evolved, I have become more confident in the specific strategies and the best practices that I can bring to the co-taught classroom and focus on what I can do to help my special education students as well as the entire classroom. We even have a few classes with students who are in continuing education programs, meaning they have dual credit and special ed students in the same room, and we are accommodating and we are modifying and adapting our strategies, our delivery, and our lesson plans to meet the needs of all of those students.
In the beginning last year, it was a little rough because not only was I a new teacher, but also experiencing the co-teaching. So just being able to go into the classroom and kind of feel at first like you're just an assistant, you kind of step back, you don't want to step on the gen ed teacher's toes, it was a little hard. But as the year went on last year, it became very successful for both myself as a special ed teacher and also for the gen ed teacher. I was able to bring things to the gen ed teacher who didn't really know how to sometimes reach out to the special ed kids.
Well, this is my first year co-teaching with Nicole Dinius next door. I think the issues we had at the beginning was that whole idea of kind of giving up the freedoms of like being my classroom, because last year I was by myself. And giving up some of that, the ideas of letting someone else be in charge of my class was pretty tough. But Nicole's kind of forceful, and she did a good job of making sure that I understood that that was what she needed. Those first few weeks is she needed the kids to see her as an actual teacher and in front of the class, instructing, answering questions, while I was kind of more monitoring and observing. So I was glad she kind of forced that, because that was the hard part, was getting that kind of system set up. Once we did that, it seems to be a nice flow. We take turns doing warm-ups and bell work, who does the initial instruction, who does review. You know, we kind of start to feed off of each other a little bit with time, now that it's been 4 months, which has been good.
We don't always agree. Everybody thinks that we just agree all the time and we're these perfect best friends, but we definitely don't always agree, but we just have a good relationship and a good way to approach each other when we don't agree with something. We never put each other down in front of the kids. Our students really see us as a unit.
Right.
So how it relates to the story.
Yeah.
There you go.
What did it have to do with the story?
What does it have to do with the story?
Okay. So we have the nest and the cradle are similar because both are for babies. This prepares the reader for the birth of Doodle and the emptiness the family felt when he died. Okay. Then we have this one. It's a good comparison because Doodle cannot walk or stand. Okay. And then we give the third one. Okay. So do you see the parts?
Well, and notice they're separated with the transition words.
Right.
Don't forget those.
Being a special ed specialist in a co-taught classroom means that I advise Mr. Cook and we collaborate together how best to make this real for the kids. Geometry is like out there, how am I ever going to use it? And then looking at not just our special ed kids, but a lot of our lower kids, how we can modify it, change it, re-say it, so they perhaps can get a better handle on how to do the math.
It has been awesome this year to be able to bring in project-based learning, to bring in different station learning, and also with going to Raise this past summer to bring in some different reading strategies. This year alone, with only being in our 15th week of school, we have already been able to bring in so much diverse in the learning atmosphere for the kids.
2 years ago, I would not have thought that I could do that in a co-taught classroom, and I'm happy to say that we are.